Almost everyone interacts with a public school in some way, whether it be through public education, after-school activities, or community events. Public schools provide spaces that help create and sustain active, healthy communities. And yet, all across the U.S., public schools struggle to manage the facility use required for school programs and their potential as a community space.
Schools tend to be the epicenter of their communities, and they have great demand for use of the public facilities. And there's an obligation to make those spaces available to the community, yet they're limited by old school practices such as pen and paper or legacy software solutions that don't get the job done. Facilities are one of the school district's greatest assets. In fact, over 1/6 of the entire US population interacts in school facilities every day. So it's extremely important that school districts have the ability to manage their facilities in the most efficient way possible.
Schools have traditionally done a good job on the education side, adopting technology. But on the operations side, we believe there's a big opportunity for schools to adopt technology to become more data-driven. But to be data-driven, you first have to be data-aware. So a system like Facilitron can help with the tracking so that the schools can measure and analyze how effective their policies are, how efficient their processes are. Most schools come onto the platform collecting only 10 or 20% of what their district policies are. So if we can help them establish a baseline, then they have something to work from to grow and improve.
For public schools to meet their own needs and the needs of the community, they must find modern solutions to manage their facilities. Without the use of data-powered technology to drive decisions, administrators remain in the dark about how to control their costs while accommodating everyone in the community.
Well, from an administrative perspective, we are always concerned that we have open access to the community. These are public buildings, so we really like to make our facilities available to the public, but we need to make sure that when we do that, it's for an acceptable use in relation to our board policies and so forth. We also want to make them accessible to our nonprofits and public organizations, but for-profit organizations, we want to make sure that we are deriving some revenue that we can put back into our facilities.
We live in an evolving world where the cost of land and population continue to increase, but the demand for community facilities continues to rise. And despite the fact that we live in a society where everything is on demand, the process of requesting community facilities continues to be fragmented. And that's where Facilitron really comes into play. We help districts not only streamline when the community comes in to use their facilities, but also increase transparency and visibility into everything that's going on across the entire district. Facilitron is making data accessible to everybody in order to evaluate the effectiveness of their board policies and really understand how much it costs when the community comes in to rent their facilities. And this is something that they've never really had before, which Facilitron is providing at no cost.
Facilitron's goal is to help schools leverage their most valuable assets and build meaningful relationships between public schools and communities. With Facilitron's unique business model, public schools are able to make data accessible to everyone with no cost for software, setup, or support.
What makes Facilitron unique, for one, is our business model. We don't charge licensing fees, so there are no costs for districts to have everyone in the district on the platform. Another way is we really work to create a partnership with the districts. We provide account managers for every district to help them analyze the data and come up with best practices and policy changes that will help them reach their goals.
We started Facilitron because I'm a father of 3 kids, and they're all really active, and one too many times we found ourselves showing up to a field and or a theater either being double booked or locked out completely. And when we started looking into the process, we found it was a nightmare for both administrators as well as renters. So we set out to build a platform that made it easier for everyone.
Facilitron has a long history of working with districts to meet the challenges of facility management. With a data mindset, Facilitron is preparing for a future where policies and decisions are data-driven and public schools have sustainable relationships with their communities.
I would say one of the trends that I foresee is just the increased use of data and how, as a district, we are able to utilize data to develop baselines for improvements.
What we found is that school districts are being asked to do more with less on the operations side, and the existing software solutions do not provide business intelligence and cost hefty licensing fees. Our solution is no cost, but provides on-demand business intelligence for all future decisions relating to school districts as facility refurbishment, replacement, personnel, and energy consumption.
With our platform providing real-time data, districts are able to be less reactive and more proactive in their decision-making. Operational intelligence is shared intelligence, which makes all parties better all around.
To learn more, contact us today.